if you're looking to become a six-figure health coach, it's one thing to have all the theory, and it's even another thing to see someone who's already done it. But what about somebody who's in the trenches and it's working and it's working? Don't you kind of want to get in there, right there where they're at in the process to know what exactly are you doing? Why is that working when there were some other things that haven't worked? So I want to highlight some real people, real results. So it's one thing that, yeah, years ago, I created my six-figure health coaching practice, and I've had multiple six-figure health coaches that we've created. But I like to get those people right now in the process, in the trenches, and highlight them. So, Grace Loney, you are one of those rock stars who is on track to six figures. You're not all the way there. You know, you're still in still in that year. So you're not all the way there, but you can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Mhm.
And I want to rewind it back. You're a biomedical engineer by trade, had your MBA, and then let's call it tanking as a health coach. Tanking, struggling, and we can use excuses, pandemic, etc. But still, how do I do this? So take us back. Your journey really started when you had Hashimoto's and your sister had Hashimoto's and you did the testing. You got on the other side of your Hashimoto's naturally, didn't have to take medications. And that was powerful. You went to IIN, you became a health coach, and you're like, I want to do this. I want to do this. So take us back. Where were you at? What was life like as a biomedical engineer? And then let's walk through the process to where you are now on track to six figures.
Yeah. So, I was working for a super fast-paced tech company in software. So I was just working crazy hours and I was not passionate about what I was doing at all. I'm a pretty smart person. I have a biomedical engineering degree. I have my MBA. I could probably do a lot of things, but what I was doing was not it, right? So I decided that I needed to leave that career. Some people kind of slowly transition into health coaching. I like I was like ready. I'm like, I am done. I am all in. I'm one of those people. I'm just an all in kind of person. So I had left my corporate career in December of 2019. And then I was finishing up my certification with IIN to be a certified integrative nutrition health coach. And I had someone already approaching me, will you coach me? And that was in January of 2020. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, do it scared, do it before you're ready. Let's
Yeah.
go. And then, so I had actually gotten 5 clients right away. So that was like signs from the universe, like, you're on the right path, girl. Keep going, keep going. I had been asked to be on the radio, like my local radio station, like crazy things were happening for me right in the beginning. So I was getting those signs from the universe.
That's unusual. Like a lot of the people that I talk to, they graduate, whether they graduated yesterday or 10 years before, they usually have no clients. Now, I had clients while I was in school too, but that was a little bit unusual. Um, and maybe that was a sign, yeah, keep going with this crazy idea to leave a lucrative six-figure career to become a health coach. But why do you think? Because people out there, they're like, hey, I would like 5 clients. How did you get those clients? What did you do to get those first ones on your own?
Those are all just people I knew from, some of them were coworkers, previous coworkers at the time, or some from even companies, two removed from when I left my corporate career. Some were from people that I knew from the gym, because I also taught fitness classes as well. So people that already knew, like, and trusted me were raising their hand and were like, oh yeah, like, yeah, will you coach me? So that is how that process started. Um, However, right, was kind of on a roll, had all these great signs, and then the pandemic hit, and then shortly after I got pregnant. And so that really turned my whole world upside down. In the
You're
process
like,
of that,
oh, snap. I just left my six-figure career and I'm pregnant, which is great naturally, despite Hashimoto's. But how am I going to pay the bills now? Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, totally. And I was trying to build a business for the first time. And now I'm like, wait, I'm going to become a mom. This, like, how am I going to balance all of this? Right. And at the time too, I'm just going to be completely honest. It was never the right time for me then,
Mhm.
because the people that I was attracting back then, when I was in more, I think I was just in more of a fear state, perhaps, or was
Yeah.
doing it before I was really ready. I was attracting people that really just drained my energy. They weren't really aligned, people that were super fun for me to work with.
Yeah.
It ended up being more like therapy, and I'm not a trained or licensed therapist. I did not have the tools or skills to really help these people. So they weren't getting great results. Like it wasn't fun because they weren't getting results. I felt in over my head. And then, I had to shift gears into learning how to become a mom
Yeah.
too. So I put everything on the back burner. I was like, you know what? Maybe this wasn't for me. Maybe the signs were just a fluke.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to reassess. So spent that first year with my daughter, just learning how to become a mom. That's a huge transformation in itself. And then shortly after that, these little ads from Dr. Shaunna pop up, and I start getting more signs, and signs are like reeling me back in, like, come on, girl, come on.
Mhm.
And so I got your book, and I started reading the book, and I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe I was just going about it the wrong way, and this could really work for me. So I read your book, and I'm an A student, right? So I like carried out your plan word for word. I created a beta group of clients. I got 4 women to be my kind of test people,
Yeah.
and went through that beta process with them. And halfway through, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? I need a coach to help me coach me through this. It would be so nice to have someone to bounce these ideas off of, and really help me grow and understand, like, how to build this business.
Yeah.
And that I really had to put my ego aside, right? Because I have an MBA. So I'm thinking I can just do this myself.
Yeah.
And like any smart business person would be like, I'm gonna have a mentor help me through this. Right. So I was like, okay, put your ego aside, become a smart business person, and invest in something that is really going to help you get where you need to go. And my girl, like, I work with the best clients now. It is so much fun. Like, I feel fairly compensated for what I do. I get to celebrate all of these amazing women. I get to meet the most, I don't know if this is an okay word to say. I get to meet the most badass women, and I get to work with them and celebrate their successes. Like, there's nothing better. So this was for me all along. I hit some road bumps along the way, but thank goodness for this program and for you, because I don't think this would have ever happened.
Yeah, because you started kind of at you had that little bit of an early success, which kept you still in the game, which kept you still interested. Had you not, I think a lot of people graduate and then they don't immediately get a flood of clients, which is like 90%, because we didn't realize we just became an entrepreneur. I just thought I was a medical doctor. I'm going to go holistic. And then all the same people that were coming to me would come to me, but now I could help them holistically. Nope. So at the hospital, people know what a doctor does, where to find you, that they should go there, but nobody is looking for a health coach. And I didn't know I'd just become an entrepreneur, a holistic, heart centered entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur. And I didn't know anything about that. I did not have an MBA. I did not have that. My brothers went into business. I didn't, if I wanted to go into business, I'd have gone into business, is what I always said. But here I was. So at the core mission for me, when I was 14, my grandmother died of cancer, that my mission has always been from that moment to help people live their longest, healthiest, happiest lives. And so that's why I became a doctor. And that's why I became then a health coach, to actually help people do that in the best way that I knew how. And when I knew better, I could do better. And so that's what led me to that, to doing this work. And so if I was going to help people, I had to learn how to run a business. If I was going to help people in any meaningful way, and my desire to help, to truly help people be healthy, was greater than any of the little obstacles that would get in my way. And I think some other people out there, they don't really care about helping other people. And it's totally okay. They might have other, I always say my husband's an amazing man. He loves cars, right? He has zero desire to be a health coach. So if he sees someone sick or suffering, yeah, he'll feel bad for them. He doesn't want them to be sick, but he doesn't have that like need to go jump in the fire. Like a burning building, I'm not a firefighter. I have no desire to go jump in that fire and do anything. Like I'm going the other way. And but when it came to health, I couldn't help it. It was like this calling on my heart. Like I tried to squash it, silence it, do something else, not do this. I couldn't do it. And to be in, and if you're listening to this and you're one of those people like Grace, like myself, and you really actually for real want to help people. And it's usually because you've seen either yourself or someone you love suffer. And you're like, there's a better way. They don't have to suffer. And there's a better way, but you can't figure out how do you help those people. And half of people have a chronic disease right now in North America. And the medical system is imploding. Like it's phenomenal in an acute crisis. If I break my arm, please put the bones back together so nature can do its thing. But in it was never meant to deal with half of the country's population all at once having a chronic disease. It's overloaded. And
Mhm.
it's not an acute thing. It's a chronic, it's a preventative, it's a sustainable. It is where health coaches come in. And these are unsung heroes. This is untapped potential. It's why I do what I do to help empower as many healers as possible, get their healing gifts out into the world, because it feels so good to unleash your healing gifts. It's like the champagne bottle just popping off, right? Like just like,
Yeah.
oh, feels so good. And that's healthy for you when you're doing what you love and you're in a soul satisfying career. When you were talking about your earlier biomedical career tech, that was what I call soul sucking. My original title for Free to Heal was going to be How Do I Get Out of My Soul Sucking Life Alive? And I tested that on social media, and everybody's like, I want a copy. I want a copy. And people are like, they're like, I know this is not it. I understand it's a stepping stone, but I know it's not it. And I love that you are on track to six figures. um you're earning over 5K a month. So you started, this is how it works. A lot of people think you make 10K on day one and then it's just like that. They think it's like you start day one and then you're like that. No, that's not how it is. It's like this. You lay the foundation. you
Mhm.
you lay the foundation, you get your ducks in a row, you formulate your niche, and you package your genius. We extract your genius, you package it in a way that is sustainable, that will deliver excellent results for your clients. And then you have to have it married up with a business plan that won't burn you out. That's key. Most people miss that. And that bit takes a little bit of runway to get formulated, and then wahoo, scale it to the moon. Scale 6, 7, 8 figures and beyond. Like you can do that without burning out. And so over the time that you've had here, so like it's like you finally like got some tracks to run on, or like I love clients like yourself who are like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Like one of our six-figure health coaches, Sherry, like she was saying like, I don't need all this woo stuff, I don't need all this woo stuff, but just tell me like step 1, 2, 3, 4, what do I need to do? And that's what I did. And when I think in her first year, she had like 50 clients, and she just like, we're super fast. And everybody was like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? And just like, I'm just following step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is the key thing. From your perspective, as you're going through this journey, what were some of the things that and people who may not be joining us, but they're like, hey, I want to do this anyways. I want to do as much as I can. What were some of the things that have allowed you to get some traction, that really worked for you, that were aha moments that you weren't really doing in that interval? So you got those quick wins, right? You got
Mhm.
those quick wins with the low hanging fruit from the people right around you. uh, and then that struggle time, be between, oh, yes, have maternity leave and that, but then when you're trying to do this on your own, you're going through that process. What were some of the things that were like, oh, or this was really helpful to actually make it work?
Yeah, I think it's important to share here because some people might be able to relate to this. So, between when I had those quick wins in 2020 to when I picked up your book, I was in a really dark place. I mean, I was, deep in the trenches of postpartum, not sleeping well. I kind of had made the decision that I'm not going to become a health coach because I was like, oh, it wasn't really what I thought it was going to be. And, but I'm not going back to corporate. So I was in a really dark place. I was like, am I just going to be a stay-at-home mom? I never envisioned this for myself. Right. I truly was grateful for that time that I had with her, but it wasn't what I had envisioned long term. So I was just like, what do I do now? And then picked up your book and it just like reinvigorated something in me. I was like, okay, hold on, hold on. Let's not give up on this dream just yet.
And which
So
book was that, Grace? Was that, sorry to interrupt, was that the Free to Heal or Six Figure Health Coach, or which book was
six
that?
six figure health coach was the one that I had read. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's a good one. It's a gem. And so yeah, so now having been in the process, um, for quite some time now. Oh my gosh, like what are some things that have helped me? Everything. Because I like the practical stuff, like having the business plan and okay, here are the steps, but also I like the woo-woo stuff too. I think the mindset is huge. And I love that you help us grow as people because if we're not growing as a person, you're not going to be able to grow your business.
Yeah.
And you have like called me out in many times where you're like, oh, you are actually in your own way right now. And so like I just love that stuff. So yeah, just very like a practical roadmap on how to build your health coaching business, not just any business. Like it's very specific to this. I've just followed the formula step by step. So I'm just like, feed me, tell me what to do. I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it's worked. And I think what's been really fun for me and what has I think helped in my success is that I take your formula and then I make it grace. So what is grace is I love to collaborate and I love to talk to other people and meet other women-owned businesses and like-minded people and being able to do, like collaborate on workshops to help get my name out there. That was something that just came really natural to me. And I'm actually working on my first official partnership, and Dr. Shaunna is helping me with that right now. And like, I would not know how to navigate that without you, right? So it just makes everything so much smoother, so much easier. I feel like I look like a rock star in such a short amount of time, and it's all this fuel that you give me behind it.
And so the process is tried and true. It took me years. I always say all of you will reach six figures faster than I did. Like it took me a decade, to really figure this out. And had it not been grateful for my toxic, highly successful, lucrative medical career, because it cost me 100 grand to figure this out. And I know a lot of health coaches out there, they don't have that much time and they don't have that much money to figure it out. And
Mhm.
so that's why, and in the description below, there's a free copy of this book. Just click on that. That's why I give as much information as I can for free, because I'm on a mission to help this world be a healthier, happier place, but I can't do it alone. And so I want each of you, my dream is to have each of you operating in your zone of genius, making a difference, setting yourself free, being able to do work with who you want, when you want, how you want, where you want. Oh gosh, it just doesn't get any better than that. That freedom is huge. So yeah, definitely, like if you haven't got the book yet, definitely get the book. The other thing that you mentioned before too, so you talked about work, making it grace, like making it like you. So what I like to do is the format, the roadmap, the formula, the method, the blueprint, our six-figure health coach blueprint. That's it. That's it. That stands the test of time. That doesn't matter.
Mhm.
That I've been doing this so long. I did it before there was internet. So we have people, six-figure health coaches like Connie, that's not on any social media. We have six-figure health coaches like Vicky, who works out of a barn because she helps horses with their gut health. Um, that part doesn't matter like as much, like as far as, and none of them have done paid ads, so that's not it. That's a common myth that people have. Well, it's one way, but it's definitely not the only way.
Mhm.
And so you want to infuse it with you. And one of the things that in general, not everybody, but in general, a lot of health coaches, they love to teach and they love to heal and they suck at sales. So we leverage what is in your natural strengths. So we focus on educational marketing, but that can be in a variety of ways. And for you, that looks like workshops, and we have our templates that you can infuse your personality, your niche into. Um, but that just helps you get up and running, offer free value for people. And, there's the mystery, guys. That's how, that's one of a few several ways that you get started in attracting clients. And it feels so good because they come to you. I like to have them coming ask you for help rather than you having to insta spam. Oh my gosh, if I have to, you probably get them too. All of the things. Can I help you with it? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't, reach out unsolicited advice for people wanting to help me with my business or my health or my YouTube channels or like I'm good. I'm good. Thank you very much. And so you want people to come to you because they want you, but they got to know that you exist. So we have to create awareness. And that's one of those first pieces. We have to have a way to, first of all, you got to figure out what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? So if you're leaving a biomedical engineer career with an MBA, we can't just be a generic health coach because I'm going to tell you right now that doesn't work. Okay, I'll try.
That was my first mistake, I think, because I didn't have that niche.
Yeah,
I was just attracting anyone with anything, and when you attract anyone with anything, you can't help anyone with anything.
yeah, exactly. And it's harder, and then you just get compared to other people. You start charging by the hour, and it's a fast track to burnout. But instead, when you're the world's leading expert in your teeny tiny little niche, that has people come even non-niche. So people sometimes get scared when I say narrow down a niche, like Elizabeth, cervical dystonia. That's pretty narrow. Nurses with cervical dystonia. And the minute did you know that she'd been like a nurse and then a health coach for like 10 years? She'd been nurse for, I can't remember how many years. For 10 years, she had graduated, right? Um, Helping people with their health. And then it was a little bit of we had to overcome some limiting beliefs, but as soon as we narrowed it down to cervical dystonia, boom, on track to six figures. And the
Mm.
great thing is, um, there was at one point, like only two of her clients actually had cervical dystonia. But by narrowing it down, you allow yourself to attract. Well, for you, your niche is Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Do all of your clients have Hashimoto's? Like, is that still what it's attracting, or do you get a mix?
Nope. Yeah, I would say it's like 50-50, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
I get that
that's
question all the time too. Like, can you help me too? I'm like, of course I can. Like, or I try to not be too excited. Like, let's see. Let's just get on a call and see if I can help you, right?
because notice, guys, how we did that, right? So when she has a really narrow niche that almost excludes somebody, don't you want people who say, but could you help me? See, that's what I mean by having clients coming to beg to work with you. So by her, if she says, I'll help you with anything you want, I'll help you with weight loss, I'll help you with your thyroid, I'll help you with your skin, I'll help you with I'll help you your relationships, I'll help you clean your windows, I'll babysit your dog. What do you like when you help them with everything? They're like, okay, I'll see if I need help, generally speaking, with anything. People go to specialists, and I was a subspecialty radiologist, and that I saw how there was no advertising for us as a doctor. There was no advertising, but when you're good at what you do and you have a super narrow niche, word gets out. And that's how Rachel, one of our six-figure health coaches, she had clients fly from New York to her teeny town in Montana. No paid advertising, no billboards, but when you are excellent at what you do, people will fly from miles around. Let's be real. There's more health coaches in New York than any other place on the planet. So if she was just a health coach, there's no way that person's getting on a plane and flying over. So there's some people here now. They're maybe they were like about to give up on this silly health coaching thing. Hey, I've been there. Grace has been there. I always say, don't give up on your dreams, but do give up the struggle. If you could say like something to them, like what do you think? What would be a piece of advice that would be helpful for them to just get them started, get them back on track? Or, here's one thing I found that was really helpful to attract people, or here's one thing that I found was really helpful to manage my day, or anything that you want to share.
You know, hopefully this is helpful. Um, and maybe this will just help shift perspective a little bit for people who are like wondering, is this going to work? Is this going to work for me? Because when I was going through your program initially and learning about the steps, and like I said, I have an MBA. So everything you were saying, I was like, yup, 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 she's right. So I didn't question you ever. I was just like, yup, she's on. She knows her stuff. I'm in the right place. So I never had any reservation. Like I was just like, "Oh yeah, this is it. Like this is so fun." So and maybe people who don't have that background aren't sure if the process is going to work for them. And so I think because I just had that belief in knowing, I'm like, "Oh, this is what we learned about in school. This is absolutely going to work." Maybe just having that belief that it's going to work. I know it sounds really simple,
Yeah,
but just maybe just like a fake it till you make it. Like just believe in yourself maybe before you do and see what happens. Or believe
yeah.
in the process maybe before you fully understand it. Just
Trust the process. Yeah.
trust the process. Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things I tell people. We don't let just anyone in, and that because we really pour a lot of resources and time. I give a lot of my attention there. I treat your business like as if it was my business. Like what would I do to grow this? So again, we can only do so many at a time. And that's why I give the books for free. I do trainings here for free because I have a bigger, broader mission so that I want everybody, like whether they're working closely with us or not, I want them to be successful. And I want to give you as much as I possibly can. If you have questions, definitely ask like in the comments. Happy to answer. But I think one of the key things, like I didn't have an MBA. And I didn't have a business background. I was a doctor. I was the opposite of that. I didn't know anything about that. But the thing that I had is a mission. I was on a mission to help people be healthy. And then so that's how I that so when what you really care about is your client, the person that you're serving, when you put their need first. I always say, go help the person bleeding in the street, right? When you focus on them, you're going to be successful. If you're looking at how can I help them get results easier, faster, better? How can I just continually make it better? Because there is no finish line. That's when you get the trail led out before you. When you're like,
Mhm.
how can I do this faster, easier? At the beginning when I did it, no one else had done it. I couldn't hire a mentor because nobody, what doctor in their right mind is going to leave us, a look up radiologist salary, multiple six-figure income to be plus to become a health coach? Who in their right mind leaves that while being a mom, have a family of six, like four kids, who sole breadwinner? Who does that? Like I'm pretty sure I was the only one. I'm pretty sure I was first, and I'm pretty sure I was the only one. But it was that much of a calling on my heart. I couldn't deny it any longer. And you might have had things like you just can't deny this is what I
Mhm.
need to do. And I think it was
Mhm.
prepping me for what I do now and supporting all of you. And I know because I was in the trenches with you. I know even though I had that great income, I also know what it looks like to not be able to afford toilet paper. I sometimes tell that story. It was not pretty at all. And so I know and what you want to do is you have to have that drive and that vision and focus on the end in mind. What do you want? And whether I'm speaking on stage in front of 5,000 people or getting on a call where I'm nervous to do it, if I'm thinking about me, then I'm
Mm,
nervous. But when I
mhm.
make it about them, and I'm gonna be like, oh, what is my hair like? What is my shoe like? What is my, oh, what are people are gonna look at me? What are my wrinkles? Oh. If I think about myself, I can't do it. But when I know I'm just the messenger, I am
Mm.
just the messenger, and there is a bigger, broader message. And I just trust that the people I'm meant to serve are going to see this, see me, hear this in the way that they're meant to serve. And I get out of my own way, then boom, connection. And that's why we just have this so amazing community. And I absolutely love it. But just keep that in
Yeah.
mind. And then invest in, put your time and money. People always do put their time and money in things that are a priority, and everybody has different priorities. And so I have mentors. I still invest in mentors
Mhm.
because that's the cheaper way. That's the cheaper, faster way. So I didn't have the luxury of, I've tried to piece together mentors as best I could through my journey, but nobody had exactly done what I wanted to do. Now, where I'm at, there are people who've done similar to what I want to do. And so it's so much easier and faster just to invest in mentors as to, how do I manage this team? How can I deliver greater results, for our clients? So, yeah, I just love that. This has been awesome, Grace. Any last words that you want to share? Anything else you want to share with before we go?
I just would like to echo what you said. I think it's the best decision. Like it was a no-brainer investment for me. And, again, just coming from that dark place. It's like the butterfly inside the cocoon. It's like super dark and scary. And then all of a sudden it's like you see the light and you can spread your wings. That's how I feel now. And it just took maybe being a little bit scared and making that investment and it all being trusting that it's all going to be worth it. So yeah, thank you for everything. It's like surreal that I get to talk to my mentor, like you were my instructor in IIN, and now I get to actually talk to you, like you're a real person. So it's really cool. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the difference that you're making, and people can tap into some of our other interviews where you go into, the incredible difference you're making with your clients. That, had you have given up on this, they would still be overweight. They'd still have anxiety. They wouldn't be taking their kids to their field trips. They wouldn't have those great relationships. They wouldn't have their career thriving and so on. And, good for you for leading with, shining your light, leading with love. That's what this is all about. That's what we're all here for. And so I so appreciate you. And I thought I wanted to share, like we share people who are already all like done. There is no checkered flag done. But I thought I want people to see someone who's just a few steps ahead of them, a few steps ahead of them, who had those same doubts, who had those same concerns, who had like, I kind of know this anyways. I mean, I'm an MBA. And then like, I had that same thing. Like, I'm a doctor. Why can't I figure this out? Like, I am a doctor, and my ego, why can't I figure this out? Well, nobody's taught you this. This is new skills. And then the mindset thing, like you were talking about, bumping up, and we got to increase our financial thermostat. If you've never made that money before, that's something that we have to work on. If you have, that's good. But then we still have to go into, maybe you were able to earn it in that way, but you never had to ask for money before. So there's a lot of money issues that people have surrounding that. But it's worth it to be able to work with who you want, when you want, how you want. I mean, you know, uh, I just love, seeing your little girl on the calls and that with you, and to be able to do a have a career that you can be a mom, you can focus on, on motherhood and have this sustainable career. And we will definitely have you back very soon when you actually hit that six figures, and you can tell us any other words of wisdom that you've got along the way. But it's so far along now that it's a done deal. Like, it's inevitable. We have the business plan laid out. She's on track. So we all know that it's just like a matter of time. So we can just ease into it, trust the flow, trust the process. It's a done deal.
Yeah.
But I wanted to like give you guys a sneak peek of what it's like while you're still in there, because I think that's helpful and valuable. I hope you found this helpful. If you would like to create a thriving practice. And you're like, okay, well, what do I need to do? How do I make six figures as a health coach? There's actually 5 critical pieces. And I put that I'll put a description to that below. I'll also put a copy of these books. If you don't have them, grab them for free. That training on those 5 critical pieces, those are the pieces that I watched Grace through, that we've walked all our 6 and multiple 6 figures through. That's the roadmap. So I'm happy to have you have that, because we need more of you getting your healing gifts out into the world. So thank you so much, Grace. I super appreciate you. You're doing amazing work in this world. And I just thank all of you for attending.
Likewise.
If you have questions, just ask. Thanks. Thank you so much, Grace.
Yeah, thank you. So fun.
Awesome. Have a great week, everybody. Big up for you.